Seriously think I'm just gonna start every single fucking video with me filling up my gas tank, because that's all this bitch does is just drink gas. Alright, it's time to make you guys the video you've all been waiting for. It's time for you all to make a little bit of side cash. Today's video I'm going to be talking about how I make money flipping motorcycles and how the fuck I always have all these different motorcycles in my garage. So stay tuned, you guys have been wanting this one, and I do it for you guys. So to start things off, in order to do this, you're going to need a little bit of money in order to make a little bit of money. It's kind of like everything else in the world, it's an investment, and you're going to get your money returned. And that's something that's actually good about this little gig, is I'm going to say like 99% of the time, you are going to make money. You also got to think about how much is your time really worth. Like, how much are you willing to put into it, and what are you willing to get out of it? Personally, for me, when it goes into flipping a bike, I want to make $500 or more every single time. If I'm only going to make $200, if I'm only going to make $300, personally for me, it's not worth it. That is not worth my time. So my goal is $500 or more to make while flipping a bike, and that's a goal you got to set for yourself. What are you willing to put out, and what do you want in return? So think about that, and then that's kind of step one. Step two of this ordeal is going out and downloading Craigslist. Again, I do not know if these websites and apps are outside of the United States. If they are, and you are from outside the United States and you're watching my video, please let me know down below in the comments. That way other people know also, because I'm just honestly completely unaware if they are or not. But the app Craigslist, it's not even I guess it's an app, it's a website and an app, Craigslist, and then also OfferUp, which is an app on Android and iOS. Those are the two apps I use the most. When it comes to Craigslist, it's super easy to search for things. You could set like the perimeter from your house, like how far do you want to actually go out? Do you want to go 20 miles, 30 miles, 40 miles, 50 miles? Super, super easy to set on there. And also the great thing about Craigslist is you could type in a price. Usually I start with like 500 bucks, sometimes cheaper. I'll even maybe go down to 200, and then you can set it to a max price range, and then you can put show all motorcycles. Then every single motorcycle around you within that price range is going to show up, and it makes it a lot easier to look through everything. That way you don't have to search through things individually. And the same thing actually applies for OfferUp. This is a little bit different, but with an OfferUp, you can't set a price range, but you can look under a motorcycle tab within the app, and you could go to that tab, and you could go to the recently posted items and list those first. And that's what you want to do with everything, because trust me, you're not the only person out here trying to find these deals and make money off flipping bikes. Other people are trying to do the same exact shit as you're doing. Alright, so you have some money in your hands, you have the apps downloaded, you have Craigslist up on your browser. Now it's totally up to you and how often you check these websites. And let me tell you, if you're planning on finding those deals, if you really want to make some money doing this, you have to check very, very often. I check all the time. If I'm not at work, I'm probably checking every at least 30 minutes to an hour which what pops up, and I'm trying to get in the habit to checking more often, because like I said before, you have other people who are trying to do the same thing. So if they see a bike that should be $3,000 for sale for $1,500, they're gonna go out there and get that shit instantly. So that's something you gotta, that's something that's totally fucking up to you, is how often you check these apps, because these deals are not gonna last long. If you see this deal that is absolutely amazing, but it was posted a day ago or 2 days ago, I can guarantee you that it still will not be up there. And if it is that good of a deal, and then the bike is still up there after 2-3 days, then it's probably not as good as of a deal as it actually sounds like. Kind of had a voice crack right there. I think I'm finally going through puberty. Whoa! VroomVroomDana. His dick is about to go from 2 to 3 inches. Let's go. See, the awesome thing about buying and flipping bikes is you do not really necessarily want any of these bikes. So say, okay, let's put an example out there. Say you go on Kelley Blue Book, which let me tell you, is your best fucking tool to start off, because that's how you're gonna start getting general knowledge of what the bike is actually worth. I mean, then again, say a bike on Kelley Blue Book is worth $3,000. It's probably honestly only worth $25, because in Kelley Blue Book, this is excellent condition, showroom quality. So whatever Kelley Blue Book says, knock off $500, and that's probably the highest you will actually get for that bike, unless it's a freak accident. But then again, knock about $500 off, and that's probably the top price you're gonna get for the bike. But like I was saying, the good thing about flipping bikes is you do not necessarily want the bikes. You're not like, oh my god, I want this bike for myself, I have to fucking have it, so I'm willing to pay the extra money. So say you go on Kelley Blue Book, something is $3,000 on there. You're gonna think in your head, okay, I could probably get $2,500, maybe $24,000, maybe $26,000, and the guy selling the bike is only offering $1,800. That's a pretty good deal so far. You can maybe get about $700 off this bike. Okay, then you think about it. When he asks $1,800, there's also a chance to talk him down. Say you only want to make $1,000 or so, or whatever. So you're like, hey man, will you take $1,600 for the bike, or will you take $1,700 for the bike? If he says no, big fucking deal, move on. There's going to be other bikes out there for sale in the future. So if you're willing to get a $700 gain or something, go for it. Go check out the bike. If it's not far, go look at it. It's simple as that, you guys. It really is that simple. A great example of this tactic was in one of my videos. I showcased a YZ250 for sale. It's a YZ250F. Kelley Blue Book had the bike at $2,700. But look, my general knowledge is if you go on these sites, these things are up for sale everywhere. There's 250s all over Craigslist. So I was like, okay, I might be able to get 24 or 23, but I don't know. I really don't know. But I know for a fact I can get over $2,000 for a 250. That is a 100% fact. And then I went on Craigslist and there was a 250 up for sale for $1,800. And at the time I was like, okay, $1,800, I could probably talk him down. I'm gonna shoot him a text and see if I can get it for $1,400. I shot him a text. I asked him if he'll give it to me for $1,400 if I come pick it up right now, cash in hand. Trust me, a lot of people like to hear the cash in hand thing. He said yes. I went there the same day, looked at the bike, and I picked the bike up. If he would have said no, I'm sticking with $1,700, $1,800, I wouldn't have cared. I'd have been like, okay, that's fine. I don't even wipe the bike. $1,500 I probably would have done, but $1,400 he agreed with my offer. I was like, okay, look, I know for an absolute fact I can get $2,000. So that's a $600 come up for me, and all what this bike needed was a nice little wash. And that's most of the time when people are getting rid of their stuff, they're just too fucking lazy to maintain it. That is the types of ads you will see on Craigslist for really cheap. Either the bike is dirty, the bike only has one picture, the bike was neglected, so it needs an oil change, it needs an air filter change, and these things are all very, very easy fixes, and fixes you're looking for because they're just completely free. They just need a little bit of your time. I went to this dude's house, I picked up the YZ250F. It's a 2008. Like I said, Kelley Blue Book had it for around $27, but I knew for a fact I wasn't going to be able to get it for that much. So I went over to his house. The bike was fucking filthy. I looked it out, I checked it out, I started it up, I checked for loud engine noise, I checked that the bike was knocking, I spun the wheels, I made sure the wheels weren't all fucked up, everything checked out. The bike was just a shit show dirty wise. Like, it looks like he hasn't cleaned it in 2 years. I cleaned the bike up, I went home, I spent like an hour and a half cleaning it, I put the bike on Craigslist for $2,400. In a week, I sold the bike for $2,200. That's what bike flipping is all about. I bought a bike for $14. I spent an hour and a half washing the bike. That is all I did, was wash the bike. And I made $800 for flipping that bike. That's a fucking deal. Now, although it's not always gonna be that easy, and you might have to put $50, $100 into a bike, again, think about it and think what the bike is gonna need. All right, I've had a street bike before. You guys know that street bike. I bought that bike for $2,400. He already had it ridiculously low at $2,500, and I hit him up like 5 minutes after he put it up. Okay, he said he got a bunch of phone calls, and of course he is. The bike was super fucking cheap. I mean, what do you expect? Other people are gonna buy it too. So he wanted $25. I looked at it, it was so clean. I made up some bullshit. I was like, look man, it's gonna need a back tire soon, the registration's due, blah blah blah, and I bought it for $24. I was able to get $100 off the bike. So I bought the bike for $2,400. the battery died. I had to put $50 in it, so I'm up to $24.50, and when I registered it, it was like $150, so I'm up to $2,600 for that bike. No big deal. Kelly Blue Book had it for around $4,000. Again, I knew I wasn't going to get it, but I put it for $4,000 online on Craigslist. Within a week, I had somebody who offered me $3,500 for the bike. I sold him the bike for $35, and I made $900 for, again, practically doing nothing and having fun riding one of the funnest bikes I've ever ridden in my life. So that was fucking awesome. Yeah, it's not supposed to be, but it is. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Have a good one. I love when people look at my bike and they're like, that guy was like, is that thing street legal? I was like, well, I mean, it is technically. Okay, so back what I was saying, it's all up to you guys, and honestly, it's all about how much work you put into this. You're gonna put in, and you will get back in return in what you put in. So if you put in minimal effort, you're gonna get a minimal return. If you're always on these websites, if you're always on these apps, and don't get me wrong, there's other apps that sell bikes and people sell shit, so look at everything. It's all up to you. So what you put in is what you're gonna get back, and over time you're gonna get better at it. You're gonna really struggle buying your first bike. And don't get me wrong, when it was time to pull that trigger, I was like, fuck man, I'm about to drop $2,000. What if I don't get back what I actually think I'm gonna get back? And that was the biggest hurdle to get over, is what if. But I knew inside my head, I just knew I could get what I thought I could get. And sure enough, after I've done probably about 5 or 6 bike flips, I was right in the end, and I usually do get back a solid return. So you guys, just be patient, because trust me, these bikes aren't going to be up all the fucking time. People aren't that desperate all the time. You just have to take advantage of the desperate people, the people who need to get rid of the bike ASAP, the people who have their wives breathing down their neck and they're like, it's gonna be the bike or my pussy, and people are gonna be like, okay, fuck, I gotta sell the bike. So those are the people you have to take advantage of. And like I said, they're not always gonna be there, but you never know when they're gonna be there. I've had times where I've bought bikes back-to-back days because they were that good of a deal. And there's also been times where I didn't see a bike for like 2 weeks. So just keep checking every day, have the money set aside, because go to the bank, take out, say, $1,500 if you have it, because if a bike goes up at 7 p.m. at night, all the banks are going to be closed, and I guarantee that somebody else who sees a steal will buy the bike that night. And that was the big thing I learned. I had an opportunity once where I was able to go buy this bike, and it was an absolute steal, but it was about 7 at night. I didn't have the money, the banks were closed, it was like $1,500, and I texted the guys like, look man, I like the bike, I'll fucking buy the bike tomorrow. 2 hours go by, it's about 9 p.m. at night, and he told me some dude and bought the bike that night. So it's all about having the money at hand. If you are able to go and get that bike ASAP, okay? Work screwed me over before, don't get me wrong. Like I said, sometimes when I didn't have the money because the banks were closed, that screwed me over before. So it's all up to you guys. Have the money, be patient, be prepared, and know what you're looking for, okay? If the bike checks out in your eyes, if you think the bike is solid, go out there, get the bike, don't be scared. If you are really confident that you can make whatever return you want, if you only want a $200 return, if you think that's worth your time, go out there, be confident with yourself, Kelly Blue Book it, look over the bike. Maybe the bike just needs a graphics kit, okay? I've done that before. I spent $50 on an eBay graphics kit, and that will make a $2,000 bike look like a $2,500 bike. That is actually a pretty big secret of mine, is if a bike doesn't have graphics, it looks a lot cheaper, and if you put a graphics on there, it's a game changer. I'm absolute serious, you guys. So go on there, do that shit, and if you're confident with yourself, go out there, buy a bike, and flip it, because that's what I do as a side job. I've had very good success. I've never made under $500, and in doing so, I keep becoming more confident with myself. I made like $600. I made like $1,000, and if you do this, it's pretty awesome. And the best thing about it, you guys, is when you're doing this, you can go out there and ride all these different bikes, and that's the coolest thing about it. So good luck, you guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below in the comments. If you are nervous about something, if you're not sure, comment down below and I'll try my absolute best to get back to you guys. But good luck. I hope it works out for you as it's worked out for me, and I'm sure it will, because this is something that a lot of people don't know about, or a lot of people don't do, and it's something that you can make pretty good money off. So it's really, really awesome. So I really do, from the bottom of my heart, wish you guys luck. Thank you guys so much for all tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like down below. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe. That was probably the most serious video I've done since I've started this channel. It was so weird. We were actually like so mature for this amount of time. I'm putting that down in the record books right there. So thank you again, you guys. That is a VroomVroomDana. Like I said, if you enjoyed, drop a like. If you're new, subscribe, and I'll talk to you beautiful, sexy motherfuckers next time. Deuces, my friends. I had to do it one more time. I'm fucking addicted to this hill, okay?
This is the anthem. Told the world I need everything and some. Yeah, 2 girls, that's a tandem. She gon' do it all for me when them bands come. Got it all, yeah, I'm young, rich, and handsome.